Hello, everybody. Welcome to All Villa, No Filler. Please remember to like and subscribe. Subscribe if you are delighted that the mighty Aston Villa laid the smacketh down on Gary O'Neill's Wolverhampton Wanderers. Professor Unai Emery, have you seen the film June 2? June 1 or June 2? Have you seen it? Well, I tell you what, he is to me what Timothy Chalamet, Paul Atreides, is to the Freeman. Lissan Al Gaib. He is Unai Al Gaib to me. He is June Messiah to me. He is the one that was promised, and he has arrived to deliver us to the promised land of potentially the Champions League, dare I say it. Honestly, he's ended another hoodoo. How many curses has Professor Unai ended? First ever game he took over at Aston Villa. We won 3-1 against Manchester United, having not beaten them at home for 27 years. Since then, we've gone on and ended various hoodoos. Tottenham Hotspur was another one. You had others against Arsenal, Manchester City, West Ham United. All these teams that we were not doing well against. And Wolverhampton Wanderers was one of the last ones that we still were not getting the job done against. Today, we got the job done. And do you know why? It's because of the X Factor. We had the X Factor, as Simon Cowell would have said back in the day. Wolves were well structured. I thought the first 20 minutes, Wolves were probably the better side. I think they were structured in the way that Liverpool did at Anfield earlier this season when they beat us 3-0, and other teams have started to repeat later on in this season. Chelsea did it to us when they beat us in the FA Cup. Newcastle did it to us when they beat us at home. So teams are starting to structure themselves where you'll have sort of three further forward with two just behind. When we've got the ball with Emi Martinez trying to play it around at the back, it makes it harder for us to play out from the back. It means that we go long quite a lot. And I thought the Wolves were quite well set up, but the problem was they didn't really have an X Factor player. And without that X Factor player, they didn't have anyone to just create, as Steven Gerrard would say, a moment of magic. Or, Ait Nuri had a massive chance. Emi Martinez showing why he's the best goalkeeper in the world and has added so many points to us this season, rescued us when we need rescuing. Massive save from him in the first half. And the game could have been very different if not. But the fact is, after 20 minutes, Villa started to get a grip on the game. And I thought Wolves, like I say, I think they were well structured. I think they were difficult to play through. But no surprise that it came about when we got a free kick. Leon Bailey managed to find a bit of space. So Wolves' structure was a bit all over the place. And from that sort of randomness of the set piece, I think Wolves' strict structure that Gary O'Neill had clearly been working on for the last few days during the international break fell apart, and the ball came out to Moussa Diaby. What a brilliant finish that was from Diaby. The man is finding form at exactly the right time. And bearing in mind, another player is finding form at the right time, Zaniolo. And the second goal, I think it was coming for Villa. I think Villa looked well on top. I think we deserved the win. I think it could have been 2 or 3-0. And that second goal came through good work from Zaniolo. I think Duran was involved as well, fighting, hustling, bustling. And then Zaniolo taking it, good pass out right. And then well laid on. And Ezri Konsa, I'm sure he meant it, chipping it over. I think he was aiming for Duran, but look, went in. Brilliant. 2-0. Very solid performance. It was a game we absolutely had to win, bearing in mind all of the injuries we've had, bearing in mind we're missing John McGinn, and bearing in mind we've got bloody Man City, Arsenal away. We've got Liverpool to come yet. We've got some really tough fixtures to come. And if we want to finish top four, if we want to keep pushing for the Premier League title, because we're only 5-6 points off it, you have to win these games. Tottenham went and won today. They just got over the line against Luton, so the pressure is back on us. But Unai Emery says, what is pressure? Pressure is trying to, make the most of your life, struggling with income. Pressure is when you're bottom of the table, not when you're pushing for the Champions League. Unai Emery, Unai Al Gaib, Professor Unai, the man who I hold as my own personal messiah. So yes, I thought overall Villa, a very solid display. Started a bit shaky. Wall structure was good, but I think we just managed to work our way into it. John McGinn missing. We've just gone and drawn at West Ham, a tough away day, and we've just beaten Wolves, so we never seem to beat at home 2-0 very comfortably. That's 4 points from the two games that McGinn's missing. Obviously, Man City away next, we could really do with him there. But overall, it shows you the depth that Villa have. It shows you the mentality that Villa have, that they can get through this. Ollie Watkins went off at half time. Hopefully he's okay. I think Duran had a good showing. I think, again, he's raw. He makes mistakes, but at the same time, it was one or two really good moments he had as well. I thought Zaniolo was absolutely brilliant. Fantastic. Good on you, Zaniolo. Morgan Rogers, I think, showed what he can be. There were moments where he was fantastic. Took the ball, ran at a player, that bit of skill, beating, Wolves players surround him and everywhere, and he's getting away. Bearing in mind, he's only just got into the Premier League. Give him a year, and let's see what sort of a player he can develop into. Keep your eye on Morgan Rogers. There was some moments today where I thought this guy could become a real top player if he's able to, just keep growing. As I say, Zaniolo, very good. Bailey, brilliant as usual. Bailey and Diaby there interchanging again, I thought was good. It's interesting to see Diaby, the way team structure now, they always have a defender on the back of our second striker. So it's never an outlet for the long ball, particularly Diaby. He's not the biggest, so he's not going to win it in that way. And so it's difficult for him to get involved in the game, which is, I do wonder if this summer, whether we might look for a second striker who has a little bit more physicality when he has to hold the ball up with back to goal. Right, and then you could have Diaby and Bailey as the wingers, interchanging as the second strikers. Tielemans does that role as well. But dare I say, Morgan Gibbs what? Could you imagine him as a second striker? Just putting it out there. I met someone today who is a fan of the podcast, Steve. He was on the same row as me at the top of the Trinity Road stand. Lovely to meet you. Thank you so much for saying such nice things about the podcast as well. There's been a few people who've done that recently at Villa Park. Honestly, it's so nice to hear it. Genuinely, it really means a lot. Honestly, awesome to meet you and love to chat to you as well. I wish I could have chatted to you a bit more today, so I was on my way out the ground. But honestly, next time, hopefully we can have a longer chat about it as well. But yeah, I think overall, a very solid win. I think we are fortunate that Neto wasn't there, Hwang wasn't there, Cunha. If they'd had maybe an X Factor player, that might have made a difference. And I know Gary O'Neill used that as a reasoning why Wolves couldn't get a goal or get the job done today. But at the same time, Wolves missed players. Aston Villa were missing players. We've been missing players all season. Bloody Boubacar Kamara. Tyrone Mings, John McGinn, Emi Buendia. Yon Duran's just come back from injury. Missing all these players, getting the job done. Ollie Watkins had scarf at half-time. Getting the job done. What a team. What a team. We're pushing. Do it. Like I say, any other observations? No, pretty solid, really. I just didn't think Wolves really showed anything, to be honest. It wasn't really a moment I was worried. I think the only other critique I'd have, and this is something that has been on running for the last few weeks now, I thought Alex Moreno was poor today. I think he was our poorest player. Just didn't quite happen for him. Every player has a bad game, and that was his bad game today. I thought he should have come off 10 minutes earlier than he did, because in the 10 minutes he stayed on, he had two mistakes that could have led to Wolves' chances. And I thought Dean should have come on sooner than he did. Emery waited until the 60th minute. There's a noticeable thing here with Villa. We concede most of our goals between the 45th and the 60th minute. And I wonder, is it that we're just waiting to that 60th minute to change things? And sometimes it's just, we should make it a bit quicker. I definitely think Dean should have come on quicker today, just because Moreno was struggling. So that's just something to observe. It was that 15 minutes after half time. Again, I thought Villa, there's a fine line between being cool and collected on the ball and then sometimes a little too casual. And it's definitely something in that 15-minute spell after half time where we tend, particularly when we're ahead, we tend to just, we look a little like we're not quite up into top gear. We just work slowly getting through the gears, and sometimes I think we need to maybe a quicker change, or maybe just having a bit more energy. But then again, it's Professor Unai. Who am I to question Unai Al Gaib? Who am I? Listen, Al Gaib, the Messiah, the man who was sent here. What a win. Let me know what you think. Comment below. Please like and subscribe. Up the mighty Villa.